And there I was. I was the girl from Suits.
This One's Wife. Tantrum. Imminent. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Today is the 80th anniversary of the D-Day landings. This means that there's considerable coverage of this event around the world, with commemorative activities having taken place yesterday and also today. This has resulted in attendance by King Charles, Prince William, Queen Camilla, and the Princess Royal, as the royal family, quite rightly, are involved in the commemorations of this historic event. So far, there has been silence from Harry, notwithstanding his military affiliation, which just goes to demonstrate how far he has fallen since the involvement of his wife. Furthermore, in the course of Friday, it's the Grosvenor wedding, the event to which it has been suggested that Harry was invited, but decided, I won't come in order not to cause a problem. Yeah, since when have Harry and this one's wife ever considered the feelings of other individuals when embarking on what they want to do? Did they think about how it would affect the Queen in her dotage when they came out with the scandalous lies and revisions of history in the Oprah interview? Of course they did not. Did they have any regard for how that would impact upon Prince Philip as he was dying? No. Entirely selfish in that regard. Was there any consideration for the feelings of King Charles, and especially the Princess of Wales, with regard to their labelling of being the racist royals as a consequence of that dickhead Omid Scobie releasing that information through the translation of Bell Endgame? No, there wasn't. Has there been any consideration shown towards Thomas Markle Sr. as he battles ill health and hasn't seen his family by way of his daughter in years and has never even met his grandchildren? No. What about Uncle Thomas and Auntie Samantha? Ostracised, disengaged from, not considered. The friends that this one's wife has used and cast to one side, any consideration for their feelings? No. What about largely for Harry with regard to a nation that he has taken against as a consequence of influence of his wife? No. Time and time again, this pair of grifting individuals have demonstrated their self-centeredness. Her, because of the innate nature of her narcissism, which causes her to focus on herself because she believes that she's the best thing in the universe, and him, because his narcissistic traits have come to the fore as a consequence of his continued control by this one's wife, that his own innate and pleasant characteristics have been harnessed and amplified by her. The result is that they amble along in their awful shared fantasy, not caring about anybody other than themselves, and even within that awful shared fantasy, the Prince of Pink Pancakes does care about his wife. That's why he rides into battle to defend her against what he perceives as attacks against her. And yet, she doesn't care about him. She claims to do so because her narcissism makes her believe that, but her behaviour demonstrates that she does not care for him, nor love him, and of course we know that as a consequence of the fact that she has no emotional empathy like any other narcissist on the planet. Thus, they've shown no consideration for the feelings of others, and therefore to suggest that the non-attendance at the Grosvenor wedding was as a consequence of being considerate to the bride and groom's day so that it wouldn't be overshadowed is horse shit. Quite simply, they weren't invited. The Grosvenor wanted William there. Of course, Catherine can't attend because she's unwell, and had a choice. I'm friends with both William and Harry, but who's going to try and overshadow my day? Harry's wife. Who isn't going to try and overshadow my day? William. I'll invite William and not Harry. But naturally, because that wounds this one's wife, the PR machine has to spin it that they were invited but chose not to come. Nobody's buying that. But what this does mean is that both today and tomorrow is quite a crucial 48 hours for this one's wife. Since the laughable tour of Nigeria, other than some PR puff pieces and, of course, putting the Sidley twins in her sights as a consequence of the purchased fact-checking, she's kept a relatively low profile. This, of course, is not something that she can maintain. She has to ensure that she's seen through the PR puff pieces. We've had nonsensical stuff from Hello, bringing up the past, and also Lilibet's birthday has been mentioned, but with scant details provided. Still, these PR puff pieces won't be enough to sustain her, and she's going to have to go and do something, make an appearance, have something published with regard to a recent visit, etc., because she absolutely craves that fuel. Subconsciously, of course, she just regards it as enjoying the attention. But this 48 hours means that focus is elsewhere and not on her. The focus is on the royal family and what they are doing in relation to the D-Day commemorative activities. Furthermore, there will also be some focus in relation to the Grosvenor wedding and, of course, William's attendance there. Thus, this one's wife is not going to be spoken about in relation to those events by mainstream media, and this wounds her. After all, even though she has nothing to do with D-Day and she's got nothing to do with the wedding, she still believes that she should be spoken about because her narcissism demands it. She believes that she's the most important person and therefore should always be spoken about, should always be praised, should also always be acknowledged, because that, of course, provides her with fuel. Thus, the fact that for the next 48 hours, focus is going to be on members of the royal family and not her, and of course those individuals are painted black, this is going to be problematic for her. And it remains to be seen whether this one's wife will then either assert control by staying in a position of withdrawal, which is something that she sometimes does, or more usually, she attempts to overshadow events by doing something or releasing some information for the purposes of trying to bring that focus back onto her. With regard to the celebrations that took place yesterday, there was silence so far. But what about today and tomorrow? Will it prove too much for her to remain in withdrawal? Is she chomping at the bit in order to try and get herself acknowledged in some way, in an attempt to shift the focus onto her? And if so, how do you think she will do it? How do you think she'll go about that? Do you think, for instance, that there'll be a sudden picture released from Lilibet's birthday? Or do you think that Meghan Harriman will suddenly find some pictures that he took in Nigeria and therefore they're going to be released, thus milking that trip even further? Will she make a sudden appearance at a soup kitchen and have that publicised? All of which is being done, of course, not in relation to the event itself, but in order to try and steal the thunder of focus being elsewhere. Let's see. Let's see how she deals with this threat to control. Let us see if she stays in a position of withdrawal, or let us see if she attempts to usurp the events by coming out with something. If you think it's going to be the latter, let me know in the comments section what you think she's likely to do, either today or tomorrow, in order to try and bring the attention back onto her. Share your thoughts with me in the comments section. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.